everyone, I'm Nat Wellen. I am a realtor with Carolina One Real Estate. Welcome to the Charleston Real Estate Show. And more importantly, welcome to Charleston. We are certainly glad you're here and glad that you're coming. I've lived in Charleston my whole life, and I'm going to show it to you using Google Earth. So let's take a quick look at, we'll start downtown because that's sort of the hub of the city. And Charleston is really a pretty easy place to describe, and the reason that I say that is that it's broken up geographically by rivers. So there are several islands around. And in fact, this is the peninsula here. It might be a little difficult to see, but I'm kind of tracing the perimeter. This is sort of the hub. This is sort of where it all started, and Charleston kind of grew, just starting right in little downtown Charleston back in 1670, I guess it was. But Charleston is really a beautiful place. In fact, let's take a look at some photographs. This is the Battery, which is where the shots of the Civil War were first fired off. And this is actually Broad Street, which is part of Old Town Charleston. That's a view looking out of my office door. And Rainbow Row, you may have seen. This is sort of an iconic view of Charleston. But let's take a look at where Boeing is in relation to this, and then what we're going to do is kind of take a look at the different areas of town, and I'll give you a little bit of commentary. So we'll fly on over to North Charleston, which is about 20 minutes from downtown Charleston by car. So the airport, or that's where the Boeing facility is located, is fairly central. In fact, let's take a quick zoom out, and I'll show you what I mean. The North Charleston area is basically right next to Boeing. In fact, the Boeing and the airport is technically in North Charleston, and this is probably going to be the most cost-effective place to live. There are certainly other areas where you can get a nice apartment or buy a nice home. North Charleston's a little bit industrial. It's not bad if you're on a budget and need to be really close to Boeing, then certainly North Charleston would be a good choice. Let's take a look at West Ashley. West Ashley is a nearby neighbor. It's right across the Ashley River, and it's really a nice place. In fact, here's a picture of Charlestown Landing, which is the site of where the city was founded. Actually, it's a public park, and it's really a good place. It's about 5 minutes from downtown, and it's really a good place to go if you have some time off to kind of spend with your family. But West Ashley in general is really a good place, and the reason that I say that is it's close to Boeing, it's close to downtown. This is sort of the area I'm talking about here. It's got easy access. This is 526, which is sort of our loop around the city, if you will, and this is 26, so it's got very easy access. In fact, I live right here, and I really like it because I can jump across and really get anywhere I need to go very easily. So I would look at West Ashley if you're considering coming here. West Ashley is a little bit older and larger yards. House styles are a little bit older, but certainly you can find a newer home in West Ashley as well. It's just there aren't quite as many as there are in other areas of town. Another option would be James Island, which is it is an island, and it's mostly older, mostly ranch style. There are some two-story homes. There are a kind of a peppering of new neighborhoods, but not many. Johns Island is a rural area that's near James Island, and it's actually the second largest island on the East Coast, next to Long Island. So if you're looking for quiet, peaceful country setting, there's lots of green space on Johns Island. Now let's take a look at a Charleston icon that was recently built, the Cooper River Bridge, and this will lead us over into Mount Pleasant. And the Cooper River Bridge is really kind of a nice feature. In fact, it was built maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and it's got a walking path, so if you'd like to walk across the bridge, it's really a beautiful way to see Charleston and get some exercise at the same time. So let's take a look at Mount Pleasant. Again, Mount Pleasant is east of the Cooper River, and Mount Pleasant, as you can see, is a fairly large area. So lots of people, more traffic, it generally feels newer in Mount Pleasant. In fact, Mount Pleasant started in this area and then it just kind of exploded in the late 90s, early 2000s. And lots of kids, a little bit more expensive, certainly a place to look. Just feels like night and day comparing it to the other side of town over on the West Ashley, James Island side. So it really kind of depends on what your flavor is, really. Another area is Daniel Island, and let's take a quick look at the Daniel Island area, which is fairly new. There it is right here. Daniel Island is its own inclusive community, and it's really, really a beautiful place. I would highly recommend, if you're looking in the over 300-ish price range, 400 to buy a home and on up, Daniel Island is really something to see, and we'll certainly take a tour when you come if that's something that interests you. So let's take a look again at another area which is going to be a little bit less expensive than Mount Pleasant, a little less expensive than James Island and West Ashley, which is Hanahan. So this would be a good alternative and not far from work as well. So if you're on a little bit of a budget, schools are good. Their near neighbor, which is Goose Creek, is about the same line, and about 20 minutes from the airport, 20 minutes from Boeing. Somerville is our kind of nearby, next-door neighbor city, and Somerville is referred to as Flower Town. In fact, here's a picture of it. It's a nice little quaint little beaver cleaver kind of feeling city. It's really a nice place. And now let's take a look at some of the fun things to do. So let's take a look at the beaches. Sullivan's Island is probably going to be the most expensive place to live. Houses start in the about 1.3 million and they go on up. But Sullivan's Island is a neat little beach. In fact, Edgar Allan Poe used to live on Sullivan's Island. Let's see if we can find some pictures here of the beach. So if you're coming from far away and haven't been in the ocean in a while, it's certainly worth taking a look at Sullivan's Island. It's a very nice place to be. And now let's go to the Isle of Palms, which is really right next door to Sullivan's Island. In fact, the coastline is sort of protected by barrier islands. So Isle of Palms is maybe a 4 or 5 mile island, and it's kind of interesting. This tip up here is eroding. So see how close the beach is to the hotel. So this has been a little bit of a local problem, which I don't see it stopping actually. And then Folly Beach is on the other side of town. In fact, you access Folly Beach from James Island, and it's a little bit more bohemian, more young people there, artists. Good place to be, good surf is there, and it's got a big pier, and it's a good family place to be, sort of referred to as arrogantly shabby in the area. So anyway, back to Boeing. Charleston's pretty easy to get around, and again, the Boeing facility is pretty centrally located, and kind of the worst case scenario, if you choose any area, Somerville is probably the farthest place, and you could be 30 minutes from work. With traffic, 40, 45 tops. Anyway, there's an introduction to Charleston. Make sure to look for more videos. I'm going to go deeper into each area and talk about traffic patterns. And again, Nat Wallen here with Carolina One Real Estate signing off, and thanks for being here, and thanks for visiting the Charleston Real Estate Show. Have a great day.